So we're going to start with the Reishi mushroom. And in front of you is a mind map that I created on the Reishi. And down below, you'll see a link to a post I made about Reishi that includes some of you have probably seen it, but it's a post I made about I am Reishi. And there's also a large write-up there about Reishi. Meanwhile, I'll go over the main aspects of the Reishi. So in a mind map, you start at the top like a clock. And so the shaman's fungus, this is a very important mushroom for spiritual work. It was used a lot for spiritual peace of mind, calmness, longevity. Longevity was a really desired thing in traditional Chinese medicine. The reason you wanted a long life was it took you a long time to get through your kind of earlier karma and figure things out. So the latter years of your life could be really devoted to the spirit world. And so Reishi, as we'll see, it has so many uses that it's the one herb that is, I think, deserves longevity because. So let's go around the clock on the mind map. It may be hard for you to see, but if you're reading it from the right, so Wei Qi is like a chi energy. It's like the beautiful thing about nature versus drugs is that these are living organisms that have life force in them and they have actually spiritual force in them. And so we can, when we, especially if we get into a receptive state, we can absorb that. One of the things that I teach is attunement to natural things like plants, mushrooms, and the elements. So we did a number of plant attunements at one of our workshops, and we attuned into the Reishi and we turned into the turkey tails. And it was amazing how much energy was in these beings. These are some of the oldest living organisms on the planet, and they are actually the largest living organisms, fungi. So there's a fungi, I will put a link to it below, that is the largest organism and it goes 3.5 square miles. So there's a powerful energy there and a very primordial energy. And mushroom mycelium take the shape of whatever they're growing in. So we'll talk about that in the mycelium of the life cycle. We talked about that in the mycelium of the life cycle, but that's why we can shape it. So immune system. This is, again, there's a document linked to here that covers some cancer cases. So our immune system is, again, at a spiritual level, our immune system is what defines us from not us, I from not I. What part of me is me? And, the immune system isn't a warring system like they teach in modern medicine. It's a communication system. And the immune cells are there to modulate the system. And the beautiful thing about mushrooms and natural products is they modulate the system, not force it to do something. So that's when they say immunomodulating, they mean it'll enhance the immune system if it needs strengthening or reduce it if it needs toning down. So as you go through the mind map, you can see there's, interferon production, inhibits bacteria. It wakes up the the T lymphocytes to attack cancer cells. Yeah, it will do. It's like the bodyguard at the dance. If you study my extracellular matrix, well, the immune cells, yeah, they're there to remove people that aren't behaving. So if there's a cancerous cell that's gone rogue, then the immune system, the T lymphocytes, will attack that and get rid of it. The heart, so as again you go through it, cholesterol improves elevated blood lipids. In this case, it uses triterpenes. So the triterpenes are a chemical that's not found, a constituent that's not found in all mushrooms, but this is the one of the constituents that's more extracted by alcohol. So you might want to make sure that you got a double extraction of reishi if you want that purpose. I still think it has an effect just as a water extraction. So also it calms the heart. And again, for longevity, for peace of mind, when we look at the Heart Math Institute, it's our heart that controls our brain, not the other way around. Our heart entrains our brain. So if our heart is feeling smooth and relaxed, our thoughts will be more smooth and relaxed. When I get exhausted, I have to look at if I'm tuning into my heart. If I'm just in my mind, then yeah, I'm going to get really tired because my mind's just burning up energy and not having this beautiful link to my body and to my feelings and to this beautiful flow that can happen. So I was an iridologist when I was a practicing herbalist. And the reason I bring this up, the next thing is pain relief, and it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. And so what I found in reading irises of the eyes, that 90% of people whose irises I read were sympathetic dominant. That means we're always on. So that goes back to the heart and to relaxing and meditating. Reishi is also good for sleep, and being good for the, anyways, we'll go up further. So allergies, again, it reduces the histamine release, and it inhibits histamine release, and that's what causes you to overreact to things. And so you can go to the details of all the different allergies. Again, it's worth trying. This is a very safe, well-studied, useful mushroom. So it's worth, one of the ones you may want to explore at first. Another area that I'm really interested in, and not solely, but I'm interested in the aging and adventure. I'm an elder myself now. And it's like I said earlier about longevity. It's not like I want to live forever. I know I won't. I know I will die. That's just a given. And the mushrooms will consume me. I will put a link to the mushroom death suit that you can get buried in. But meanwhile, there's a beautiful book by James Hillman called The Force of Character, and it's about aging. And it's like the 3 stages are lasting, leaving, and legacy. So lasting is, we want to be as healthy as we can for as long as we can. Like I said, it takes a long time to work through all this karma and all these relationships and families and kids and etc. And finally, hopefully, you get a few years at the end where you can have some peace and you can go deeper into the spiritual dimensions of your life. And so it's also good for the liver. So this is one reason it's good to take at night for both sleep, and also your liver is most active during the evening. So that's kind of the medicinal aspects of the reishi, but we'll also look at and I've done this, you can actually make paper out of reishi. by grind is a conch. So grinding it up and mixing it with some ingredients, you can make paper, and they actually make leather hats out of it. There's still as a company in Estonia that makes leather hats. This is a good herb to wildcraft in the Pacific Northwest. And so one of the ways that we can tell the reishi is by on the underside, if we take a stick and try and draw on it, the reishi has a very soft underside that will definitely show the markings. And so it was called an artist conch, and you can find really beautiful pictures of done on reishi. The hard part of the mushroom, the really tough part, and the polysaccharides are locked in there. So what we want to do is break that apart as much as we can and then extract it. And so we need heat and water. And also, so it's best to dry the mushroom as well as you can and then powder it with a coffee grinder. Be careful. Don't do a lot at once. I've burned out a number of coffee grinders doing that, especially in classes I taught. And also wear a mask because there's lots of spores in there. But you then grind that to a powder, and then you can make tea with that and even boil that. And that's where you want to get those beta-glucans, which we'll cover later on, broken down to as fine a molecular structure as you can, so more readily absorbed by our body system. Of course, the beauty is we can get fantastic mushroom products now that are water extracted, Dougal extracted. And so I'll put a link to the company that I use, but there's many companies. And so that's another thing. Growing, I will, I'll put this onto my video making program, and I'll put a picture of the reishi that I've grown. And it's a fun, exciting mushroom to grow, and you can grow in indoors. So anyways, I think that's it for the reishi for now. Of course, you can post questions in the document, and also you can give me feedback on the link. I'll be asking, on the feedback form, because I'll be asking different things in there. And then I'm also going to have a Q&A. So anyways, that'll give you a good start on reishi.